Years ago, I met a kid. He was 19 years old, and he had been given $50,000 in like a lump sum kind of insurance payout. He had been given it, I guess, maybe in a check. I don't know how they do that. I've never seen a check that big. And, it took him about 48 hours to spend it all. Low rumble, I know. If he had invested it, it would have been about $30,000 now. This is about 20 years ago. He bought himself a new car, didn't get insurance on it because he paid cash for the car. He didn't need to get insurance. And then he bought a couple of his friends' used cars, and then they all drove to Florida, and he crashed his new car, totaled it, of course didn't have insurance on it, and had to fly everybody home. That was kind of expensive, $50,000 later, and it's all gone. I don't know if you have any regrets from being a teenager. If you have anything that you maybe do differently, I think most of us do. I know that I have for a long time been compiling a list of things that I want my kids to know, stuff that I want my kids to know. I actually have it up here on the screen if you want to read it. It's up to about 91 things now. So it's all right there. So just go ahead and write it down because it's really, really good stuff. The goal I had when I started collecting this was like, this is all the things that I want to teach my kids before they leave home. And I try, but I have not made it all the way through the list. In fact, I get stuck on just a few things. And if you were to ask my children right now, they would be able to recite 3 or 4 things that they hear all the time because I haven't been able to get to all of them. But this is stuff that I would like them to know. Maybe I do need to add, don't spend $50,000 in one weekend. That would probably be helpful to be up there. But everything that you want your children to know, everything that you want your grandchildren to know, your nieces, your nephews, everything that you want them to know can be summed up in one single word that the Bible uses over and over and over. Because there's these people that you've met that are skilled at life. They get life. Like when life is throwing you curveballs, they're the people that you call. They're the people you ask, can I get just a cup of coffee with you? I've got a few questions. And they can just take what's going on in your life that feels overwhelming and feels like a mess, and just in a few questions kind of unravel everything and give you clarity. And we call those people wise. The Bible uses this word wisdom to talk about what it means to be skilled at life, to get how life works. It's wisdom. And this is what we want for our kids. This is what we want for us. The Bible's go-to book about wisdom is the book of Proverbs, and it's Proverbs. I want to look at a passage in Proverbs chapter 4 because it sounds a lot like the author is sending his child off to college, and he wants to get everything on the list taught to him before he goes. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 1, he says, "Listen, my sons," or "listen, my children, to a father's instruction." Right? Parents, dads, you've ever felt like that? You ever be like, listen to me. I've got important things to say. Pay attention. Gain understanding. I give you sound learning. I've learned from experience, Rob, so do not forsake my teaching. For I too was a son to my father. How many parents have said that? I was your age once. I know what it's like. I know what you kids are thinking and what you're getting up to. And the kids are like, you have no idea. We do. I was a son to my father, still tender. Oh, my sweet little baby, you're so innocent and cherished by my mother. It sounds like a dad who is about to send his kid off to college in another state, and he's a little worried that he hasn't taught him all 91 things on this list. Now he says, your grandpa taught me some stuff. Look at what he says in the next verse. Then he, this is your grandpa, taught me, and he said to me. Now these are the grandfather's words that the son is quoting to the grandchild. Take hold of my words with all your heart. Keep my commands, and you will live. Parents, you may not put it in those terms, but that's exactly what you feel like. Listen, I'm giving you good stuff here. This is going to help you be successful in life. This is going to help you make it. You will live. Get wisdom. Get understanding. Do not forget my words or turn away from them. Do not forsake wisdom, and she will protect you. Love her, and she will watch over you. Real quick, can I point out, it's pretty interesting that when the Bible personifies wisdom, it gives it a specific gender. What's the gender? Women. What was the gender of the kid who spent $50,000 in 48 hours? That was a boy. That's why the Bible doesn't choose boys to personify wisdom. I didn't write it. college does feel like a momentous occasion, and it is. It is a momentous occasion. I know a lot of you guys are excited to pack up and head out and try something new, and maybe there's a little trepidation, a little nervousness too. But us parents make such a big deal about it because it is a big deal. Like, we know that your life is kind of this open book, and then you go to college and you're kind of choosing a path, right? There's going to be specific friends. You might meet someone. You might meet the one. You're going to choose a major that would lead to a career. And so it's like you're kind of narrowing down the options a little bit. So it does feel like a big deal. And the Bible marks these transitions over and over and over again, that these moments when we're choosing something that maybe begins to narrow down our pathway in life. All right, so wisdom is essential for this, but this is what it says next, and I think this is so interesting. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7, he says, all right, the beginning of wisdom is this. Get wisdom. Very, very deep, Solomon. That is genius. All right, get wisdom. Very interesting. And I think it's funny because he's like, this is the secret to getting wisdom. You got to get wisdom. It's kind of like when you lose something. Have you ever had somebody helpfully say like, well, where did you have it? Well, I don't know. It's lost. Oh, you're feeling down? Well, cheer up, buddy. What are you talking about? I can't just do that. Just get wisdom. What does it mean to just get wisdom? And then he goes on to say in the next half of this 2 slides forward, he says, though it cost all you have, get understanding. If you could translate this verse in a very literal way, it would say something like, in all you're getting, get wisdom. So you're out in life and you're getting stuff, right? You're getting a degree, you're getting a friend group, you're getting maybe a spouse, you're getting children, you're getting a house, all those things. In all you're getting, get wisdom. Because wisdom is the thing that's going to make sense of all those other things in life. Now, graduates, you guys know this. How many times, Julia, how many times have you been asked, where are you going to college and what are you studying? Yeah, 100 plus, probably a bazillion times, right? More or less. I told you I was bad at math. All of you guys have been asked that a ton of times, right? It's especially, all of you were asked your senior year of high school, where are you going? What are you doing? Sometimes it's by your parents. Where are you going? What are you doing? You're not staying here. You're going somewhere else. But it was asked over and over and over again. And we started to get the point that what we did post-high school, post-senior year, was the most important thing. And when we didn't have an answer, when it wasn't clear, we felt like we had to make up an answer. Raise your hand if you've ever made up an answer to that question. Yeah, you're okay. Yeah, a couple of you are like, I had to make it up because I didn't know. People kept pressuring me and asking me and wondering, what was I going to do? Here's the problem with that question. It's fine. We're just curious. We want to know. But it does make it sound like the most important thing in life is the career we choose and how much it pays and what's your backup option and what's your minor. If you got this major, what are you going to do and where are you going to live? But the important thing this verse is telling us in all that getting and all that deciding and all that figuring out, get wisdom. Put this thing at the top of everything else because this thing will make sense of everything else. Listen, choosing a college is less important than getting wisdom. Setting out on a career path is less important than getting wisdom. Finding the one with whom you will spend the rest of your life is less important than getting wisdom because wisdom will affect all those other choices. It will impact all those other decisions. Wisdom is at the pinnacle. So what does it mean? What does it mean to get wisdom? And this is true. This is for everybody. You don't have to be a high school senior for this to matter to you because you can do this at any point in your life. Whatever else you want out of life, whatever else, whether it's a good retirement package, whether it's a happy marriage, whether it's well-adjusted children, wisdom is the pursuit that allows for all those other achievements. It's the thing. Some of you are sitting at a position in your lives. I'll talk to you guys here in a second, high school graduates. Let's talk to everybody else for a second. Some of you are sitting at a position in your lives that you do not want to be. You have made choices, and it has brought you to a position that you do not want to be in. And you're wondering, what do I do now? Well, you know what Solomon's grandpa would say? Get wisdom. Figure out what you truly want out of life and find wisdom in order to pursue that path. Because we sometimes inherit this script of a life that says, earn a good paycheck, buy a house, get a car, have 2.5 kids, make sure your retirement package is good. When you retire, golf. And it's just like the script that's handed to us, and that's not what God is necessarily intending for your life. Get wisdom. Okay, 3 truths about getting wisdom, and then we'll be done. Number 1, wisdom comes from God. Wisdom comes from God. This sounds a little bit like a platitude. I know wisdom comes from God. Of course, we're at a church. We're going to have to say that kind of stuff. But it's true. I want you to see Proverbs chapter 3, verse 19. He writes, by wisdom the Lord laid the earth's foundation. By understanding he set the heavens in place. And that sounds like a nice poetic verse. But he's saying something important there. There's a physicist named Eugene Wigner that talks about the unreasonable effectiveness of mathematics and the natural sciences. And what he's getting at is that it's wild that the universe makes sense. That as far out in the universe as you go, you can do the math and figure out how to shoot rockets and account for orbit trajectory and account for atmospheric pressure. You can do all that math and the world makes sense. It makes sense. It's unreasonable, he says, unless, of course, the universe has been put together by someone who had a plan in mind. It's why your Google Maps works on your phone, because the Earth's spinning at a certain rate and it's rotating around the sun in an elliptical orbit. I mean, everything, DNA, music, architecture, they're all mathematical ratios. It reveals this wisdom. But the truth is, the same goes for moral wisdom. It's given to us and built by God. We live in a society, and I'm so glad that our society is highlighting things like empathy and compassion in the way that you interact with one another. That's a wonderful thing. But the problem with anchoring your moral vision in just empathy and compassion is that you don't always feel empathetic or compassionate. Or sometimes you only feel empathetic and compassionate towards certain kinds of people. There has to be something stronger and more sturdy that sustains our moral vision for the world so that we can be empathetic and compassionate to people that don't deserve it. We have to have a stronger strength in terms of what our morality is calling us to do. Even a social contract. I'm glad that we live in the United States where the social contract teaches us to do things and treat one another well, and people walk around saying, be nice or be kind. It doesn't cost anything, shirts. I love that. I'm glad we have a social contract. But a social contract isn't enough for sustaining moral vision, moral wisdom. It's not enough because statistically, politically, you disagree with about 50% of the population. It's not enough. There needs to be something that is revealed to us, that is given to us, that is stronger to sustain a moral reality in the world. It's why a popular verse, I'm sure you know it, Micah 6:8, where he says, he has shown you. He has shown you. God revealed this to us. What is good? He's shown you. Why did God have to show us that these things were good? Because it's not always self-evident what is justice. It's not always self-evident to love mercy. We love it now, but it's not always self-evident. It's not always self-evident. It's definitely not self-evident to walk humbly. Definitely not. And God has revealed that to us as a better way of being. Wisdom must be revealed. They are revealed truths. And I just say all that to say that you can't untether wisdom from God, or if you do, it's eventually going to spin off into something that doesn't appear to be wisdom. Number 2, wisdom must be pursued. It won't arrive at your doorstep from Amazon in 2 days. Wisdom is not the natural result of age, education, or experience. Have you ever read an article about someone, I don't know, something minor, maybe somebody got arrested, and you're like, Joe Schmo, 62, was charged with reckless endangerment in operation of a motor vehicle, and you're like, Joe Schmo is too old to be driving recklessly and losing it during road rage. You're just like, that guy's too old. He should have better experience by now. Not to pick on anything, but there's certain crimes that younger people should do, not older people. Just leave it to the young folks. He's too old to be at. We should get older and wiser. Unfortunately, we don't. And this, I think, is interesting because sometimes I think older people, and I'm getting older. 30 years ago, I graduated from high school. I think older people do fewer dumb things, not because we're wiser, but because we're more tired. I'm not kidding. It is hard to get in trouble if you're in bed by 9 p.m. You just don't have the energy to go do bad. You don't rob banks because you're just like, I have to go buy a gun and I have to drive down to the bank. That's why. You don't necessarily get wiser just because you get older. And education is another one. This currently, right now in our society, education is the holy grail in terms of solving society's ills. If you give people the right information, they will make the right decisions. That's the assumption. Is that true? No. In 1990, Congress passed a law that we would have to apply to our food labels that told us how bad the food was for us, how terrible what it is that we were ingesting. In 1990, the obesity rate among adults was about 11%. It skyrocketed after we put the labels on it. It's about 40% right now. So nobody was like, I think this Twinkie is healthy. Oh, look at the label. No, it's not healthy. But we just didn't care. We knew things weren't healthy, and we just ate them anyway. We know, but we're not making better choices. And there's lots of factors. I don't want to oversimplify it. But evidently, a lack of wisdom is not a lack of information. Proverbs chapter 17, verse 10 says, a rebuke impresses a discerning person more than 100 lashes for a fool. If you're a wise person, somebody can come along and say, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. And you're like, oh, changed my life. If you're a fool, man, the message, you can't even beat it into them. Not that you should. Foolishness cannot be fixed with facts. And then, of course, experience, right? Experience should be our greatest teacher. Have you ever made the same mistake twice? Evidently, it's not. There's a fun verse in the Bible that we don't read a lot because it's a little bit graphic. Proverbs 26, verse 11. He says, as a dog returns to its vomit, so a fool repeats their folly. Age, education, experience, they provide opportunity to increase wisdom, but they don't guarantee it. They can't do the job on their own. Number three, wisdom is knowing what not to do. And if there is one thing that I could rewire in brains of anybody, high schoolers, adults in this room, it would be like, sometimes it's not about what you do, it's about what you don't do. I was talking to my wife, this has been a little while back, and she was reflecting. She was like, yeah, wisdom is often about what you don't do. And she said one of her favorite verses, so you're going to learn Corinne's favorite verse today, is in the book of James, chapter 3. The book of James, chapter 3 says, the wisdom that comes from, revealed, the wisdom that is given to you from heaven is first of all pure. So if you're going through a flow chart and saying, is this decision pure? If it's not pure, it's not wise. Is this decision peace-loving? Is this going to increase the shalom of the people around me? If it isn't, it's not wise. Is this decision considerate of the human beings with which I have in my life? If it's not wise. Is it submissive? Is it full of mercy? Is it full of good fruit? Is it impartial? Is it sincere? There's so many things that would change the way that we interact with one another, both in person and online. Shout out to the class that's taking place in the conference room, The Anxious Generation. If you're not going, you need to be going because it's incredibly helpful in terms of how you think about how technology interacts with both you and the children you're hoping to influence. But if it's not pure, if it's not peace-loving, if it's not considerate, if it's not submissive, if it's not full of mercy, if it's not good fruit, if it's not impartial, if it's not sincere, it's not wise. It's not wise. How many things would be better in life if it was just something we didn't do? Anybody ever sent an email that you meant for one person, but you accidentally replied all? Yeah, if I just hadn't sent that email, life would have been easier. I've never done this personally, just because I'm so smart, but have any of you ever asked a woman who wasn't pregnant when she was due? Yeah. Can I just give you a piece of advice? Don't ever ask a woman She could be giving birth. Just don't bring it up. Just be like, well, it's great. I'll call 911 for you. Just don't talk about it. There's so many things in life that it would just be, we would save ourselves so much pain and heartache if we just didn't do them. Wisdom, so much of wisdom is about knowing what not to do. I want to wrap up with this, and this is so important because we just need to know this. Wisdom doesn't prevent life from happening to you. Because some of you have said, hey, I made all the right decisions. I did all the right things. I didn't do the bad things. I made sure that every choice I made was thoughtful and wise, and everybody agreed with me, and I got consensus, and bad things still happen to me. That's absolutely true. Jesus talked about this in the end of the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew chapter 7. He said, hey, if you build your life on what I'm telling you, when the rains come, when the storm comes, your house won't collapse. Not that it won't come. You are going to go through difficulty. High schoolers, or recently, you're not high schoolers anymore, you're college freshmen. There are some things that'll probably happen in the first semester of college that you're going to be like, my college experience was supposed to be magical, and this is hard, this is painful, this is difficult. It's not going to prevent bad things from happening to you. Although, Maida, you'll be in Malibu, so that'll be pretty nice. I think you'll probably be okay. But wisdom doesn't mean bad things won't happen to you. It just gives you the tools with which to withstand those bad things. And that's true for all of us. It's true for all of us. We're all going to have the disappointments and the tragedies and the traumas. It just means that wisdom, we've skillfully constructed a life that won't collapse when those things happen. All right, I'm not going to take any more of your time. I just wanted to a word about wisdom because I think more than anything else, I could give you 91 things that you need to do with your life. But if we just do wisdom, I think we're going to be okay. Students, if you just do wisdom. Malachi is my nephew. Malachi, if you just do wisdom, you're going to be okay, right? Avery, wisdom. Maida, wisdom. Julia, wisdom. Where's Michael? Wisdom. Where's Noah? Wisdom, right? 2 Noahs. Where's wisdom? Lanny's not here. I'll tell her personally. Wisdom. Wisdom. Church, how would your life look different if you operated